Welcome to the Just Getting Through Life podcast. Wait, can you hear me? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good.
By Kim.
And Jonathan,
And today we are going to be looking at a School of Life video, and um,
we
they
mentioned
have
it in the last one.
suggestions. Oh, well, they have suggestions on what to ask your partner. And I think it's like these questions aren't stupid. Like, what is your favorite color?
It's a valid question.
Shut up.
These are 7 questions that are
Stupid
supposed
questions.
to restart love. Questions you should ask each other, I guess, every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
Okay, let's get started. Number one,
Number one.
the things I would like to be appreciated for is dot, dot, dot.
Okay,
Oh, you go first.
I go first. Um, the things I'd like to get appreciated for is probably like the small stuff, like how I clean up after you sometimes. Well, not sometimes, a lot of the times. And,
I just live in filth.
stuff like me doing your laundry or folding your clothes or stuff like that.
You make me sound like a slob.
I didn't say you live in Phil. You said you live in Phil. Remember, you said that.
You're reinforcing the image.
Hey, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying I'm answering the question honestly.
Okay, wait, this is like your honest thoughts, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, noted.
Noted. What about you?
Um, Actually, I don't have an answer. I don't know the things I'd like to be appreciated for. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that one.
Oh, well, maybe you just feel so appreciated. Maybe I'm just like very appreciative of you, you know?
You know what? That could be correct too. Maybe I just don't feel I feel like you appreciate so much that I don't have anything to talk about.
All right. All right, all right, all right, all right. So we'll hop on to the next question because tonight we're doing this really late and we're both like super tired.
But we
We're got
just gotta do it.
we gotta get through it.
Because if we keep on skipping shit, nothing will be done.
Exactly. And it's her fault. She took a nap.
Yeah,
It's her fault. All right, next question, number 2.
it is my fault.
When I'm in a panic, I dot dot dot. Go for it.
I shut down completely. I think when I panic, I just curl up into a ball and do nothing. That's my panic.
hmm
What about you?
For me, I mean, it's also you've experienced that. I when I panic, I shut down too, and then I get in my head, and then I just think and think and think of all these things that could happen that aren't real. That's what happens when I panic. I constantly think. I get into this
But
dream.
in your panic mode, when you're thinking a lot,
hmm
like, what is it that you feel when you're thinking?
Stress, anxiety.
But give me, like at the very bottom level, are you peaceful?
No, chaotic in my head. It's like a hurricane going on in my head with a bunch of random scenarios of stuff that isn't real.
Okay, because when I panic, I like curl up into a ball
hmm
and my mind goes like this. This is how I think. I'm like, hmm. it seems to be a lot of things happening right now, and I can't make a decision. But eventually it will work itself out. But I can't see an answer right now. I wonder who I should ask for help. I wonder if I should ask anyone for help. I wonder if I can resolve this just by myself. And then that's my panic. My panic is
So
when
you're
I can't decide, that's when I panic and I think about like if I'm capable of making the right choices because I have to choose and then I delay choosing. That's what happens when I panic.
seems a little like slower paced than mine. Mine's like
Yeah, mine's not speedy panic. It's more like
mine.
slow, peaceful panic. I peacefully panic. Let me hear your panic thoughts.
Oh no, it's just depending on the situation. I go through scenarios in my head, and I just make stuff up.
So just give me thoughts, give me words that you tell yourself in your head that has to it can be specific to something or it can be vague.
Um, well, made up like say something small happens, and
Okay, let me give you an example of when
uh,
you did panic.
uh,
When I told you that I want to do some webcamming.
I don't want to talk about that.
Yes, what went through
No,
your head? You said that you
it
what
was
went through your
horrible.
head?
It was horrible.
So tell me
I
what
felt
were
sick.
the words?
Words,
Yeah, or is it feelings? Do you
feelings. I felt
said,
gross.
but you say you go through different scenarios. Like, is that just silent films in your head, or?
Yeah, it's like something playing out. Like I'll make different scenarios.
But the scenarios are silent. Like, there's no sound. Like, it's not you talking to yourself.
Mm-mm.
Really?
No, it's just like seeing something happen. I mean, I'm talking to myself in my head, but it's like, I don't know,
But what do you see happen?
just things that I go through, like how I would feel in that situation, like the emotions I would go through.
Okay, so
That
narrate it. Narrate it for me.
that situation, I
Yeah.
just
Like, what are your words? What are your thoughts?
like I felt like if that happened, you wouldn't be mine. It would be
So fear.
scared. Fear, yeah. I feel like um, you know, I want you to myself, if that makes any sense. And I was going through like how I would feel in those situations, and if if it was something that I'd be okay with, and in the end, I I wasn't at all.
Hmm. You're still being like very generic about it.
Hmm.
I'm asking for like if you like what exact words.
Oh, like if you liked it, you'd start doing it, and I would not be okay with it, I don't think, and it would make me feel insecure.
Insecure.
And
Unsecure is not a
and
word.
yes, insecure. Sorry, insecure, and yeah, it would not make me feel good. And I went through like I played it out in my head, like the whole thing, like if it actually went down, and it made me sick.
Mm.
Hmm. Even thinking about it right now makes me feel awkward.
Hold on. I'm gonna pause it. All right, we took a quick pause because I had to do something, but now we're back.
We're back.
We are back. All right, so let's move on to number 3. I'd probably be more normal if the following had happened to me in childhood.
You can go first.
Oh, okay.
I'll let you go first.
I think I'd probably be more normal if I wasn't beaten when I was young. I'd probably be more normal if I didn't grow up in extreme poverty. Maybe. I don't know. Some people are really normal even if they go through that. I'd probably be more normal if I wasn't raised in such a very strict, conservative way, I think. It made me rebel more.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me like want to just move the fuck away when I was 17. Well, I got into college, so it helped a lot that, you get like grant, you get the ability to move somewhere because the school is like, oh yeah, you can come and start school here. My parents wanted me to live at home and attend UCI, which is closer to my home. But then I'm like, I can't do it. There's no way. And my dad, he faked a seizure. Like he had the ambulance come and everything. And even when the ambulance coming and he was faking it, I was like, Dad, I know you're faking it. I'm still not going to go to UCI. I was like very brutal. I was like, even when he was still faking it, I'm like, you're faking it. And he was totally fine, of course. But he just didn't want me to move away so much that he like faked a seizure. Like, what the fuck?
Wow.
Yeah. And then the ambulance was coming and like I looked at the ambulance, I'm like, oh, what a waste of time. What a waste of money and time. But yeah, I left and I think I would have been way more normal. Maybe even socially if I wasn't raised the way I was raised. Very distant. Yeah.
Oh, you're sociable now.
No, I mean, I was really, really awkward and weird. And I still am, I feel, but back then I was like even more so. Oh, I remember one time I liked this guy and I was so awkward and so socially weird that I liked him, and what I did for attention back then was like message him randomly and saying, hey, like trying to annoy him. And then one time I cut my eyelashes. Like my eyelashes, I cut it just because I thought it would be interesting to just cut my eyelashes. And then I told him about it. I'm like, oh yeah, I cut my eyelashes. And he's like, who cut their eyelashes? Like he was mature. He was like, and if you like me, then just say you like me. Don't like go crazy. Don't like try to get my attention through weird ways. Like he was saying, like cut it out kind of thing. And it made me realize like, oh, I guess this isn't the way to get someone's attention, because when I was younger, I didn't really care about guys, and when guys had crushes on me, I would just be really mean to them. I remember I was taught this guy named Victor in elementary school. It was like 4th grade, 5th grade, so it wasn't like super creepy. It was when we're kind of older, but he followed me around. He stalked me, and then one time he stalked me. I had enough. I was like, Victor, I wouldn't be with you if you were the last person on earth. And I remember it so well because he took a golf ball out from behind him. Like he already had a golf ball, and he was so mad that I said that he threw the golf ball at me and it hit me on my hips, and it like it was like he threw it hard, and it caused this rainbow effect of like a bruise. You know, normal bruise is purple.
Mhm.
I remember looking at it, and it was like green and yellow. It was like a rainbow that spread out like this, a whole rainbow of a bruise. And I looked at it, and I never got that kind of bruise before. And my thoughts were, wow, that's really pretty. And then, wow, he must have been really angry.
That probably was.
And then, oh well. Like those are my thoughts. Like, oh well. Yeah. What about you?
um, I'd probably. I think I was also. I I think if I was didn't have such a broken family growing up back when I was younger, I think I would be
Broken in what way?
broken in what way? Basically, there would always be fighting and parents fighting and all that.
So parents fought. Were
Hmm.
you beaten?
Not really, not that I remember. I know I got hit with a belt a few times, and my mom broke a spoon on my butt once. I remember that. But I guess sometimes, but not really. I always tried to act like the good kid, but undercover. Well, I tried, but I was horrible. But
Wait, I thought you didn't try to act like a good kid. I thought you constantly got into trouble.
no, when I got in trouble, I tried to act like I didn't do it, or I didn't,
Huh? Oh, so you just like cause trouble, and then when you're caught, you're like, oh,
Mhm,
that's not me?
mhm, mhm.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think I would be more sociable because I don't. I have such a small group of friends, and I don't.
When you were younger? Growing up?
No, yeah, even growing up, like in high school, I hung out with the same people all 4 years.
Well, we're talking about childhood.
Well, I'm just saying from that, I think that's what led me to how I am today, how I'm still kind of like to myself, and I don't really,
Because of the arguing?
yeah, just because of, I think that's what it is. I mean, that because whenever they did, I always kept to myself, and then same thing. I started focusing on games and to get away from like everything. It was my safety spot, I guess.
Well, hold on. All right. Sorry about that. What were we talking about? Oh, arguing a lot during childhood. So, because you witnessed a lot of arguing, but like,
It
you
made
know
me
how
distant
some,
from people.
you know how some, I feel like some people, if they witness arguing between two other people, like their
Hmm.
parents,
Hmm.
some of them are like, they get like frustrated. They're like, ugh, and then they try to like go away from the scene. What do you feel when you saw that? Were you like, ugh, or were you like,
Well, I
oh,
cried a
I
lot.
want to help?
I
Huh?
cried a lot. I tried to help. I remember I tried to help once and I got my hand smashed in a door
When
by
you tried to
accident.
help?
By accident. It was an accident, but
But were you like, I'll never help again because of that?
well, a lot of my childhood I can't remember anymore.
Mm.
I just remember that happening to me when I was trying to help.
When did you forget? What parts of your childhood is blank?
A lot of it. I don't remember most of it.
You don't remember school? Do you remember going to elementary school?
Not
Do you remember your friends in
well,
elementary school? Do you remember the playground? Do you remember
bits and pieces,
other kids? Yeah, I
bits and
remember
pieces,
bits and pieces.
but
I
I
don't
don't.
think we're meant to remember everything.
Well, I don't remember. I'm not saying I remember everything, but I can't remember blocks of my childhood.
But what blocks are they? What year? Like
I
eighth
don't know what
grade?
year. No, it was when I was really young.
So you remember eighth grade.
Yeah,
You
I
remember
remember.
high school?
Yeah, I remember high school.
You
I
remember? See, when you say my childhood, I forget. Like that tells me nothing. Like I don't know what that.
so when I was younger than that, I
What
was.
age?
I don't remember.
Are you in elementary?
It
Do
could
you
have been
remember
elementary.
sixth? Do you remember sixth grade? Do you
No,
remember what teacher you had in sixth grade?
it was before sixth grade. It was before fourth grade. Because fourth grade is when I moved to live with my grandparents.
Okay, so you don't remember third grade? You don't remember second grade at all? You
Uh-uh.
don't remember what teacher you had in third grade?
No, I don't remember any of them.
Oh, interesting. I remember my teacher in kindergarten.
I don't even remember what the street looks like when I was growing up or what the logo is for the school.
Do you remember what school it was?
Nope, no idea.
Do you, so did you, you had like white parents. So
Yeah.
I don't know if white parents do this because Asian parents don't,
Mm-hmm.
or at least my parents didn't. But I had art projects, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
in those younger years, you have art projects and you draw stuff and you do
Mm-hmm.
things.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't keep mine. Like my stuff I just throw away like on my own accord.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like drawing and doing projects. And then I would be really proud of them because my teachers would be like, "Oh, you're a smart little tiny kid. You're so cute." And they call me Pumpkin. Like, look at you, you little pumpkin. And then I'm like, "Oh yeah, I know I'm a small, smart, cute kid." Like in my head, I'm like, I know this is me. And I
Your
remember
eyes got smaller.
I remember being really, really competitive. And
Mm.
then um, even when I was younger, I had a diary. I think the reason why I remember is because I wrote down everything. I'm like, today I woke up and I brushed my teeth. I remember I started my diary in third grade. It was like a small, tiny diary, and I wrote, woke up, brushed teeth. And then, like, today I'm going to read a book with, um, what's her name? New or something. And then I wrote, she reads faster than I do. I wrote that. I remember writing that. I'm like, does that mean that I'm a slow reader? Question mark. There's a lot of like questioning myself when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
I would always be like really angry that someone was better at me in something and then like not accepting of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like being angry. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's how things are, you know? And then being really angry. I was really, really jealous of my brother because Asian parents, they kind of like um, prioritize like the male in the family.
Uh-huh.
So, and on top of that, he was constantly sick. He was constantly like in and out of the hospital, just sick, like extremely all the time, asthmatic or just coughing or high fever. I remember being woken up to be rushed to the hospital because his fever was so high when we were young. So not only like in my mind, like is he the favorite, but like I can't do anything about it because he's also like the sick one, like
Yeah.
constantly sick. But at the same time, he was also really, really smart. I mean, he turned out to be a doctor. But when we were young, I remember we got tested to go to school, and his test scores were really high. Like he was really, really smart as a young kid. And I remember he is really smart even as a young child because I see him like I remember seeing him read and he would like comprehend it so fast. And then so they sent him to a school for gifted kids and and then that like just fueled my jealousy. I became really, really jealous, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh man. And then on top of like, you know, but I did well in school, but it was like fueled out of like jealousy and like a competitiveness that was like very bitter, and it wasn't like a happy, peaceful thing,
Mm-hmm.
to win for me. To win, it was like I should win. Like it was entitled. Like
Yeah.
it was an entitled feeling when I was younger. And it didn't help that I had friends who were like really like preppy, like really like
Mm-hmm.
stuck up friends who were smart.
Hmm.
when I was really, really, when it was in fourth grade and third grade. But you don't remember, like, you don't remember kindergarten? You don't remember fence? Like, kindergartners usually are fenced in
No.
because you don't, they can't escape. I mean, if they weren't fenced in, they would be like walking into the middle of the street, right?
Hmm.
Um, you don't remember,
Nope.
you don't remember
Mm.
like the sound of your teacher's voice?
Nope.
You don't remember the toys in the
Nope.
elementary yard? Do you
Nope.
remember nap time?
Nope.
You remember recess?
Mm-mm.
You don't remember recess.
No, I don't remember anything.
But in elementary school, elementary includes fourth grade and fifth grade and sixth grade, and they had recess. So
Well,
you
I remember,
say
I
that you remember
remember,
fourth
I
to sixth,
remember
but you don't
some.
remember recess?
I remember some of. Talking about. I don't remember things before fourth grade, like anything before fourth grade. I started. My memory was probably best when I moved to live with my grandparents.
You don't. So when you say you don't remember, you can't be like not remembering anything at all, right? It's not like a complete blank.
Not complete. I remember like very, very, very little.
So let me
Like
tell me what
of
you
my
do remember.
elementary, of my first school. Don't remember the name of it, but I remember getting hit in the face with a tetherball by a tall black girl.
Okay, so you remember
That's it.
playground.
Well, I don't even remember what the playground looks like exactly. I just remember getting hit in the face with a tetherball and having to walk to the office crying.
What did the office look like?
I don't remember. I remember walking there and then that's it. Don't remember going into the office, don't remember anything after that.
There's a lot of field trips when you're young. Do you remember any fun field trips?
Mm-mm.
Do you remember your teacher's reaction to you?
Mm-mm.
Wow.
I remember there was a girl that smelled like pee though. That sit in front of me.
Do you remember liking anyone around that age? Like, oh, she's pretty and cute.
No.
Do you remember hating anyone? Like, oh, that's a bully.
No, I hated people like I told you, like after fourth grade, that's when I um didn't like certain bullies and that's when I was more introduced to stuff. I didn't like the girl that hit me in the face with a ball though.
Tetherball?
Tetherball, yeah. I remember that. I used to remember I was like, oh, she's such a jerk. She didn't even say sorry and my nose was bleeding. What?
Did you expect her to say sorry at that age?
Yeah, fuck yeah I did. I
How
was like,
old? How old were you in fourth grade? What age is that?
yeah, it wasn't fourth grade. It was before that.
What, how
I
old?
think I don't remember.
But if it's before that, then
I
third
don't
grade?
probably. I don't remember when. I don't even remember. I remember my. I remember I had a friend named Sean,
Uh-huh.
but I don't remember what he looks like, and I don't remember.
What did Sean and you do as friends? Do you play at home or was
Yeah,
he
he's a
never at
neighbor.
home?
I think he was a neighbor, but
Okay.
I
Did
don't
you go
remember.
to the same school? Did
I don't
Sean
know.
go in the same, did you would take a bus to school?
No, it was close. I remember it being a few blocks away.
Oh, so you walked to school.
I don't remember if I walked. I think I did.
Yeah, if it's close, where did you live when you were younger? Like what
I,
city?
I don't remember.
You don't remember what city you lived in?
Mm-mm.
Were you in California?
Yeah,
Were you in Southern California?
yeah. I've
Were
always
there
been a
Asians?
son. No, there's no Asians.
Was there only white people?
No,
Okay, were the Mexicans?
I think so. I don't remember.
Well, if
You're
you get
asking me.
rid of white and you get rid,
You're asking me
there's
so
like
many
no
questions,
white
but
people.
I'm telling you, I don't remember.
No, I'm asking you these questions not in disbelief of your memory. I'm asking you because I want to know what you do remember.
Mm,
Because when you tell me I don't remember anything, that's complete bullshit to me. Because you just told me you have a friend named Sean there's a tetherball that hit your face. There's a black girl that
Well,
hit
I
it.
remember barely
Your
anything.
school, yeah. So my conversation to you isn't about like a blanket statement, because I
Mhm.
don't believe in that.
Mhm.
So you're just trying to be dismissive, and I'm not letting you. You're like, oh yeah, I don't remember anything. And I'm like, that's complete bullshit. Of course you remember shit. You remember that your school was kind of close, that you didn't take the bus.
I don't think
So,
I did.
like, and that you cried and got hurt and had these feelings. So, what else do you remember? I'm not asking you what you don't remember. Like, do you remember the smell of grass? Do you remember when it rains?
I
What it
remember.
smells like?
No,
Do
I
you
remember.
remember any time when it's really windy? Did it knock
I
trees down?
I remember taking a sip of beer and hating it.
So you don't like alcohol when you were young. Did
Mm-mm.
someone feed you the alcohol or did you steal
No,
it
it
from
was
your?
sitting there. It was sitting there, and I tasted it.
Was it like a family picnic or was it like at
It was
school?
just sitting. No, it was at the house. It was sitting out somewhere, and I just tasted it, and it was gross.
Like in a cup?
Yeah.
What color was
No,
the
it
cup?
was in a can.
What type of can color was it? What color was
Silver.
the can?
Silver, I think.
Silver. Oh, it could be Coors Light, that silver.
Mhm.
And it was just sitting on a kitchen table.
No, it was
Are
on the
you tall
porch.
enough?
It was on the porch.
And the porch had like
A
furniture?
railing.
Porch furniture?
It had a railing. It was sitting on a railing on the porch.
Did your porch did it had furniture? Like backyard porch furniture?
I don't
Was
remember.
it blank?
I don't remember.
Was there grass?
Oh yeah, there was grass.
So some porches don't have grass. I'm just saying. You're
Well,
like, well, yeah, duh. I'm like, what are you talking
well,
about?
I meant there's grass on the lawn. I
Some lawns aren't grassy. Like in the desert, there's no grass in some lawns. They just have rocks and dirt.
I think there was grass.
Was there a tree?
There was
What
trees.
color was the railing? Was it wooden?
It was wooden, but I don't remember the color. Well, I think it was wooden. I don't really know.
And you just remember you were walking around, you saw a beer on a table,
Hmm.
I mean, on a railing, and you took a sip of it.
Uh-huh, and it was gross. And I
And
remember like,
did
ugh.
you throw it away or you
No,
put it back?
I just put it back and walked away. Acted like it never happened.
Do you remember any tragedies when you were younger? Was your best friend taken away from you? Did
Mm,
something fall on your head?
we moved. We moved away.
Do you remember the truck? Do you remember yourself packing
Mm-mm.
stuff into the box?
I remember we got robbed once when we were younger.
Oh,
And
what was taken?
we walked into the house and there was clothes all over the floor, shit everywhere.
What neighborhood was this?
I don't remember.
Did you have fencing outside your window? Like, did your
We had a
window
dog.
have bars?
Um,
Like a barred
I
up
don't
window?
remember. I know my grandparents' houses had bars, but I don't remember what that house had. I don't even remember where it was.
Did you ever ask your mom, hey, where did I used to live?
Mm-mm.
Because I remember very vividly where I lived in elementary school, where I lived in middle school, where I lived in high school.
I remember where I lived.
Exactly.
I remember everywhere where I lived. Like, I don't. The last house I can remember that I lived as a kid is a house in San Bernardino, and it was on 4th Street. But we lived somewhere else before that, and I don't remember a lot of that stuff.
You lived somewhere else and then you moved to that 4th Street house
Mm-hmm.
before you moved with your grandma.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Was that house like one story or was it an apartment? Was a whole house?
It was a house. It was one story, but I don't.
Was it a yellow house?
No, I don't remember the color. I remember there was a table in the living room though, because then that's where I got bit by the crocodile stapler.
You stapled yourself?
Yeah. I remember I told you that story where it was a purple crocodile stapler. I showed you, right?
No, you didn't show me, but you told me about it.
Here. And let me see if I can copy the link. Oh shit, it's huge.
Do you remember? Well, I'm not gonna click on that link.
Here, I can think I can pick it up on my camera. That
Why do
was,
you have a picture of it?
huh?
Why do you have a picture of it?
I just looked it up online.
It still exists?
I don't know if it still exists, but yeah, that's it. And I was scared of it for a long time.
You were scared of when you stapled it. You didn't
Yeah,
realize that it wasn't like inanimate. That
I thought it bit me.
real.
Thought it bit me. I
Like,
did. I really thought it bit me. All
were
right.
you afraid of other things after that? You're like, oh shit, if this inanimate object can bite me, what about everything else in this house?
No.
So you only thought like one thing was possessed.
Hmm. It bit me. Still this day, I still remember it biting me, but then I realized that that couldn't have been how it happened.
You know what's funny? This is what you did. You took it and then you went like this.
No, what I did was I think I took it and I slammed it.
Oh, you went like this with your finger in between,
Yeah,
and
and I
then you
think
went like this,
yeah,
and you thought that
it bit me.
it bit you, even though
Mhm.
you went like this.
I think I did. I don't know if I did.
You have to have done like
Yeah.
this. How else? Unless you go like this.
No, it like completely went through my finger.
Yeah, then you have to like at full force like this.
Yeah.
That's like a very premeditated thing to do. That's not like an accidental, you know? That's not accidental. That means you have to like kind of like put your hand carefully underneath it because there's only like a small space, right?
Yeah, I don't think it was an electric stapler. I think, or maybe was it a electric stapler? I wonder if it was.
No
No,
one
there's
owns an
no.
electric stapler.
Huh? No, it's
No
definitely not.
one will own an electric stapler unless you have a business and it's an industry thing. No one's gonna own an
I
electric.
know. I'm just trying to think. I was like, no,
No,
I
it's
didn't.
like you're carefully, this is what you did. You carefully put it in the small space that could fit it. You let your finger stay there. And then with a lot of force, you went like this for it to go through your little tiny baby finger. You know, you have a small finger too.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
it's like very premeditated. Like it's to me it's really funny that it takes a lot of effort to like staple yourself even as an adult. It's not like, you know,
Yeah.
it's not something that's by accident. You like do paper cut by accident if you go
Hmm.
like this. You bump into a wall by accident, but stapling yourself, that's like full on like coordination and strength, especially if you have a small hand. Think about it, a small tiny child. Even when they're going like this, they can't really staple through like some pieces of paper, right? Did
I
you
should
want
ask.
to hurt yourself?
I should ask my dad because he's the one who pulled the staple out of my finger.
Yeah. Did you want to hurt yourself or bring
No,
attention to yourself?
I don't think so. I don't remember. I don't remember what was going through my head back then.
Okay.
Next question. Went way too off topic about my memory, and she's just questioning me, questioning me. Uh,
I want to know. That's the whole point of these questions. What are you doing, Jonathan? You're answering questions.
that was not a question. That went way off.
What are you talking about? If I ask you, hey, what color is it? That's
Next
not a
question.
question?
Next question. What are we on? What I would like to be forgiven for. Go. I don't think I have anything.
I would like to be forgiven for the 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 unconscious blames that you have in your past that ties you to who you are in the present that will affect me. Like I want to be forgiven for that. I think we all have that. Like we all have things that are not our fault
Mm-hmm.
that because someone treated you differently
Mm-hmm.
that you get the brunt of it. And
Yeah.
I think that's not something that you should be nonchalant about or that you should be like easy about. I
Yeah.
think that's something that when you look at your current partner, the things that happen to you, your partner should look at you back and be like, so, like, why am I getting that? You know? Instead of like, oh, okay, I understand because this happened. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't, in my mind, I think that's something that should
Well, I think
be
everyone does that
forgiven.
though. Everyone has that in the back of their head, right?
What do you mean, though?
Uh, I just mean that I think everyone has it.
Everyone has
That,
what?
like stuff that affected them. But I'm getting off topic.
Well, no, you're not. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about it, like the if you're like, oh, everyone does that. Oh, everyone has that anyway. To me, that's not okay.
No, it's
Like
not an excuse.
that's something that like I should be forgiven for. And if I take my past and I put it on you,
Mm-hmm.
that means that I haven't um that means I blame you in some way because just because you're around, just because you're getting close, just because
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes when we get close, I think you're a runner, and I'm a person who likes attention. I think that's the I think that's the hardest thing to balance between us. But I
you don't
think,
run,
huh?
you don't run.
I don't run. All I want is attention. I want to be like hugged, loved, all that stuff. I love that feeling. Makes me feel wanted.
It makes me feel wanted when you leave me alone. It
Yeah, I
makes me
know.
feel understood. It makes me feel understood.
I know. And that's why I do it for you. Because I understand that you need you stuff. Whatever you need, I feel like I should provide that or try my best to provide what you need.
Hmm. What
Hmm.
I would like to be forgiven for. Are you sure you don't want to be forgiven for anything?
Um, well, I want to be for, well, I guess the only thing I'd wish that didn't happen was me shutting down on you that one time.
So
Because I
you
feel
want to
like,
be forgiven for that.
yeah, but you already forgiven me for it, I think. I mean, I don't know. But I do regret it because I lost the trust, or not lose the trust, but I know every single time something happens, um, I guess you lose some trust in, I don't know. I don't know how to explain. But yeah, I think that's the only thing. I wish that didn't happen. And I don't know, I think sometimes you still think about it, or you still maybe refer to it.
Yeah, it's something that I don't prosecute you for in terms of like when we see each other and when we go on dates. I'm not
Mm.
like, you know, bitter and
Yeah.
angry face, like just
Hmm.
angry about it, you know?
But
Um,
isn't it still in the back of your mind though, right?
it's just, I think for me, because I'm such a runner,
Hmm.
that any kind of reason for me to run, it just makes it easier
Hmm.
for me to stay distant. Kind of like I think what I do is I ignored red flags in my past relationships
Hmm.
at my own detriment, even though there were clear red flags.
Hmm.
And then so getting older, I'm like, well, I'm happy by myself. Like, why do I need to be with anyone? So if there's a reason for me to be happy by myself again, then I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's one reason.
Hmm. All
So
right.
I'm just like waiting around for reasons to be single.
That's not healthy at all.
Yeah, I know.
But I guess that answers the question. That's probably the only thing, because I want you to feel safe with me, and I felt like that hurt it a little bit.
Well, I guess yeah, I guess because I feel like you say one thing, like you're like, I want you to feel safe with me. I want you to want to be with me and all those words and then if you shut down, I'm like, well, then you don't mean what you say, you know?
Hmm.
That's I think that's what goes on in my mind when that
Hmm.
happens. It's not because you did it,
Hmm.
it's not like the act. It's kind of like the meaning behind it, like someone saying, like someone if someone's like, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, and then they're like, this is why I love you, like you make me do this because I love you, like it's kind of like contradictory,
Hmm.
yeah.
All right. Next question. Where oh, where I'd love you to realize you hurt me is. I think that's just. I mean, you already know about that. I mean, I think the way you say things sometimes hurts me. But I already told you that because you're very blunt, and I guess sometimes you can be a little too blunt. But that's it.
Just being too blunt.
Hmm. Yeah, sometimes it hurts me or it makes me feel very down and sad because it makes me feel like when you're like that, like when you're really blunt, it makes me feel like the things that I've done don't matter. It's just that what I did wrong in that moment means more than those, I guess. But that is something with me that I know I shouldn't think like that. But
Well,
I do get hurt by the bluntness sometimes.
mm, like give me an example that sticks in your mind. Or is it a general overall feeling, or is it like a few instances you
A
recycle?
few instances, well, not like recycle, it's just like sometimes like I felt really bad when you about the mini chat thing because I was trying And I know I was failing and I shouldn't have said it's done, but I felt like you went a little overboard. So I kind of just said okay and left it. So I wasn't feeling good about that, but I mean, you said sorry, so like I let that go.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought you were too blunt. Like I didn't think you need to go into detail on, oh, you could have found the answer this way, this way, this way, and you said it multiple times.
I think my bluntness stems from me fearing that I'm uh you know, sorry, Sukanta just messaged me.
Hmm.
Hold on. Let me pause this. Resume. Um what was I thinking? Oh, where I left you to realize you hurt me is okay, yeah. I think for me, I think that is my trigger. Like that's a bad trigger for me.
Hmm.
If I go down that repetitive kind of like thing,
Hmm.
and it doesn't help that you, whenever you feel blamed, that's
Hmm.
your trigger, you know?
Yeah.
So my trigger is like deep down, the root of it is if I'm going to be with someone, I don't want to be with someone incompetent. Like that's a fear of mine. Like I'm going
Hmm.
to be with someone who I think it goes to my childhood too when I was younger and I'm like reading a little bit slower than my friend who was speed reading. Like
Hmm.
she's just super smart and
Hmm.
I'm not like crazy smart. I'm just a little bit above normal.
Hmm.
But the fact that she could read so fast, I was like, wow. And even when I was really young, like I understood that I was a little bit smarter than a lot of people, but also not super smart, right?
Hmm.
And that realization made me kind of like I mean, you don't have to be super smart to succeed in life, but you have to have like some kind of common sense. You either have to have a lot of street sense, street smart,
Hmm.
or book smart, right? One or the
Hmm.
other, or a combination of both. But like,
Hmm.
um, in my mind, like I don't know you that well, so like, you know, because your world is smaller, you know, you don't meet a lot of people, you don't go to conferences and do things and travel. It makes
Hmm.
me feel like already you don't have a lot of like street smart
Hmm.
just because of my assumptions and not knowing you that well.
Hmm.
And then when I see that you couldn't even Google stuff, like it made me go, wow, he's not like book smart either. Like it made me like really afraid. And I think when I'm afraid like that, and
Well,
it's all assumptions. All this is assumptions because I don't know
yeah.
you that well.
Hmm.
It makes me like fear that I'm like with someone who isn't gonna be able to I won't be able to trust to make decisions. And when I ask you like to decide, you tell me stuff like, "Oh, I don't want to decide," or "Oh, I don't remember anything," or "I never done that, so I don't want to do it," or "I've never done that, so I don't know." Like all these I don't knows, I can't decide.
Hmm.
I haven't done that. I haven't been there. I haven't this. It makes me feel like oh shit, I'm gonna be like, I don't know myself if I'm the type of person to lead you in this
Hmm.
life because I didn't read the fastest, right? Like, if I in my youth, if all the competitions I entered, I won, like, then I would be very confident. Like, I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. I got everything, you know?
Hmm.
But I'm not that type of person because I didn't win at everything.
Hmm.
And I mean, you don't have to win at everything to feel that confident. It's just that I was raised with super strict parents who wanted me to win at everything.
Hmm.
And I came in, like, I had really good grades. I remember even in high school, I argued like for 30 minutes with a professor so I can get one, not professor, teacher, so I can get one extra point on a random, like, an assignment, you know? Like, that's the level, that mental level I was at. And it's still with me. So um, that's why when something like that happens, I'm like, wow, you've been telling me for days that you finished something and you watch videos on it and you have the power of the internet and it still has like 8 mistakes and all these mistakes and you don't have street smart and you can't do this like it made me go down that hole. Like that's the mental rabbit hole that I went down into. That's why I was like, well, blah blah blah. And in doing that, what I was doing was like trying to see if you had a reason, for it. If you were like, oh yeah, actually I was working on 5 other things, Kim, and like I didn't even focus on that, and and I casually just said I finished when I didn't finish, then I would be like, oh, okay. Well, if you were like working on 5 other things and multitasking, fine. But like, yeah. So that's the mental rabbit hole that I get into, and I realize that is me. It's like a lot of my own assumptions. It's a buildup of my fears. It's the fear of being with someone. Like, if I'm dating someone, because I'm older now, like I would rather be single than be hitched to someone who I feel is not on the same level, or like, or not even on the same level, but just like basically Googling stuff, like not even doing that. So it makes me like, before you, I went on dates with some people and I dated this guy for a little bit, very little, like 3 weeks. But during that whole time, I had to correct his spelling a lot. And it's because he didn't go to college. But he was successful in life. He like owns a lot of homes and is successful, right? But like I couldn't stand that in a partner. Like, even if you're wealthy, he was wealthy, he was successful, and he didn't really need it to work. He just collected money through properties, and but he couldn't spell a lot of things. And he told me, "Oh yeah, I suck at texting." And I'm like, "How do you suck at texting? Does that mean you ignore people?" And so when I was texting him back and forth, I realized he sucks at texting, and people tell him he sucks because he doesn't even know how to like spell basic words. And I had to keep on correcting him, and it made me feel like, what the fuck? And then he didn't, like, he was late on bills and stuff for some of his homes where he had like all these like late fees, which he can't afford to pay, but it was like hundreds of dollars in late fees for like random stuff like electricity that he didn't pay, so that you get charged more. And he's like, I'll get to it. And it makes me feel, I was like, man, I don't want a partner like that, and so I dumped him because I just couldn't, even if you're financially successful, like, who gives a fuck? Like, that's not important to me, I'm not going to be fulfilled by correcting someone all the time, you know? So yeah, that's where all of that, I feel like that's the best way I can explain that. It's not like all of a sudden I'm like glitching up like, like there's some glitch inside of me where I have to like keep on repeating it. It's kind of like a deep dive into a bunch of like scenarios, like overthinking, like what you say that you do sometimes. That's my way of overthinking and my way of creating scenarios. It's fear-based.
I get that.
So yeah, maybe next time when you feel like I'm diving into that, stop me and say, Kim, I'm capable, or stop me and say, Kim, I mean, I didn't Google enough, or like I didn't watch the whole video, or like,
I didn't Google.
yeah.
No, I didn't. I know how to Google. Trust me, I do it every single day at work. I practically learned everything on Google.
Yeah, so just stop me and say, "Hey Kim, I'm like totally capable of this," and I
Yeah.
think that will stop me from diving deeper.
So I just smack you on the head or something like that and tell you stop.
Yeah, just say, "Hey, stop." Well,
Psh.
yeah, but metaphorically, you know? Like how I stopped you. I think I stopped you when you were like getting mad that I was blaming you. And then I remember we were in Mexico and you blame me even though it was like your keys were near your purse this whole time. And then I just stopped you. I'm like, I know you have an issue with blame, but just because I ask you to look somewhere and be more complete with looking
Yeah.
doesn't mean that I'm saying
And
that it's all your fault.
I didn't realize that I was doing that until you said something.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of just stopped you. Because for me, I just don't want to spend any time arguing. I don't want to spend any
Yeah.
time feeling weird or awkward with
Yeah.
you. I think that's like, I think if you do that to me or if I do that to you, I think that's like playing games with each other.
Yeah.
I think we are too old at this point to like engage in that
Hmm.
like childish ways like oh, I'm just not going to talk to you. I'm going to give you the silent treatment. Like I think giving each other any kind of silent treatment is fucking games and I don't have time for that. Like I'm just not going to participate. If you're like mad at me, like I'm mad at you and then I text you and I'm like, "Hey, is everything okay?" and you just don't answer and then you answer like a long time later and you're like, well, yeah, blah, blah, blah. This is what you get kind of thing. Like, you get the silent treatment because this is how I'm going to punish you. To
Mm-mm.
me, it's kind of like, are you 5 years old? Like, are you throwing a temper tantrum right now? Like, how old are you? You
Hmm.
know, you should know better. And I'm not going to be with a kid. Like, what will go on in my head. I would just like, that's it,
Hmm.
you
So,
know?
this went. What about you answering the question?
Oh, okay, where I'd love to realize you hurt me is I don't think you mean to hurt me at all, and I think it's a habit, but it's when you say you don't know. Then that hurts me a little bit, but I never tell you, "Hey, you hurt me," right?
Hmm.
I never like go like you hurt me. I don't do that to you, right?
Hmm. You
I
don't.
just I don't think I get like tell you that I get hurt. I just lash back. I think that's what I do.
Hmm.
So when I trust that you're going to do something, when you say, and you don't even need to, that's the thing. You don't need to help me do stuff. You help me because you want to be kind and you want to just be a helping person, helping partner, right?
Hmm.
But then when you tell me I'm going to help you do this, and then you don't like actually Google or spend time to
Yeah.
actually figure out and actually help me,
Hmm.
it hurts me. I feel hurt because I'm like, is this how you help? You
Hmm.
like don't even offer it, if
Yeah.
you're not gonna really, really do it.
Hmm.
And on top of that, you say that you finish it, right?
Hmm.
So it's like, why do you lie? Like in my head, like that's what hurts me because I'm like, first of all, you don't even need to offer help. And then second of all, you offer me false hope by saying it's done.
Hmm.
And then so to me it's like fake. It's like, what, you want to appear like a good boyfriend and then like just not? So
Hmm.
so I feel hurt. I feel betrayed when that happens. Like
Hmm.
like you care more about your image as a good boyfriend because you keep telling me the same thing. You're like, well, I know you say you got this, but you know, I just want to be a gentleman or I just want to help you. And even though I'm like, I got this, don't worry about it. Let me just take care of it. And you're like, oh, well, you could have told me to help you. And then the times that I do say, oh, yeah, okay, I trust that you will help me. I trust that you will take care of it. And then you're like, don't worry, babe, I got this. And then you just don't. I'm like, what? You might as well just say, I'm busy with other things, you know? Like, it makes me feel betrayed. Like,
Yeah.
what happened? It's like, I don't ask you for everything. And when I do ask you for something, you want to just appear to be a good boyfriend, you know?
It's not what it is, though.
Exactly. I'm just saying that's how
Yeah,
I want you to realize. This question is like realizing.
Yeah.
You don't realize that that's going on, right?
No, I don't.
Yeah. So I'm just answering you very honestly, like that's what goes on in my mind.
Okay. Next question.
What would help me to change is if you, huh? What? That's like half a question. If you what? What would help me to change? Change what?
It was I guess to change how you feel, but I mean we pretty much answered it. I mean,
Oh, like we stop ourselves in our track or we
yeah.
explain
Yeah.
our thought process. But that's kind of like explaining. That's not saying this is how you should act next time. Well, one of it was, hey, I can change the deep dive if you say, hey, Kim, like cut it out, you know, like just don't cower. Just don't go like, you know, when I go into the fear-based mode, just don't go, oh, I'm sorry. To me, that kind of fuels me. That's kind of be like, yeah, you said you're sorry. So, you know, of course it is your fault. But if you were like, Kim, cut it out. Like, I helped you. I tried to help you the best I can. I don't know everything about that. You know, I watched a video that you sent me and I did the best I can and I thought it was finished. Like, would anyone help you? Would anyone else in this world take the time to watch these fucking videos and then go and click through this shit with you? You know, like that. Well, not like that. That's how I would, you know. You don't say things like the way I do, but similar on that line in a nice way. You know?
Be like, fuck that shit. I'm not doing shit.
Exactly. You're like, or you could be like, you know what? You're right. You're right. You don't need help. I'm gone. You know, you could do all this yourself.
All right, let's do the last question because it's almost 11.
Okay, and you need to sleep. Yeah. Okay,
So,
what I miss so much about you is
I know. So, what I'd miss about you, I think what I'd miss about you.
If I was gone suddenly, like I disappear. What is missing?
I don't know. Let's see.
If we were to break up?
Let me see. I can watch an example. Suppose you weren't to see your partner again and you could look back from a distance and think about what your relationship what would you miss?
Oh, breaking up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The scenario where you're like thinking back and thinking, oh, I would miss the blank, blank, blank of how this person was.
I think I would miss, as small as it is, your your dorky smile and your positive vibes, how you're just very happy, and um, that happiness kind of makes everything feel better in a way, because when I'm around you, I don't feel sad or anything like that. It makes your happiness kind of just overwhelms me, and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta be happy. Oh shit.
That's so funny because I hung out with my friend Anna the other day.
Mhm,
She's like, yeah, day to day, I don't laugh hysterically to the point where I cry. That's not a day to day thing.
mhm,
And to me, I'm like, oh, that's pretty normal.
mhm.
She's like, that's not normal.
Yeah, I think I'd miss like all that, like you jumping up and down, really excited, and just doing, seeing you in that light. I think that's what I would miss the most, just the happiness that you have.
Hmm. I think what I would miss is your the fact that you if it wasn't if it isn't for you in my life, I wouldn't have a mirror. I think that's what I would miss. Like I wouldn't have someone who's like um validating my existence, like someone who's like, "Oh, like you're doing this weird," or like here's an example. Um I was talking to Anna yesterday when I was high. I'm like, wow, because my life is kind of unstructured, I don't know really what normal is. And like the only way I know like what is where in someone else's world is because I have a partner. Like it makes me feel really appreciative of you because I'm like, because Jonathan is around, he's telling me, oh yeah, like people gossip like this in the office, like, or oh yeah, Kim, that's like super extra, like I wouldn't know what is extra or what is anything, like there's like a baseline with you, and you're like, no one would like go. Here's one example. When we were driving,
Hmm.
and I was like, oh my god, there's a big ass tire over there. And you're like, who does that? You're like people would be like, oh, there's a really big tire.
Yeah,
for
you're like,
me, for me, I was like, oh my god.
that's the most excited thing in the world. Freaking big ass tire.
And like even now, it launches me into this hysteria where I'm like cry laughing. But yeah, like if you weren't around and I was just driving by myself, I would feel like that's life. Like everyone does that, like that's how everything is all the time.
Hmm.
And I think because of that, like I cherish it makes things more funny. It makes things more interesting when I see your reaction like you're like what is this?
Yeah,
Uh,
that is my reaction sometimes.
I think your reaction makes it funnier. I laugh harder. And yeah, that's what I would miss about you because I was talking to Anna too. I was just like, oh, and here's another thing. And maybe it's something that people who are in relationships, who are married, have that I don't get as much because I'm so by myself and independent a lot of times. Even when I was in my past relationship, I was really independent.
Mhm.
But small things like I was looking at, I was in one of Anna's bathrooms, and I was looking at the flickering light and how it was flickering. It was just flickering, like faulty, right?
Mhm.
And for a brief moment in my head, I was like, oh, what if I lived in a house and I had like a flickering light? And in my head, I imagined you like helping me buy to just like not make it flicker. So I think I would miss that, the feeling that someone else is also there to just fix a flickering light bulb, you know?
Mhm.
Right? Like
Yeah.
you don't get that feeling. You don't get that feeling like, oh yeah, Jonathan would like change that light or something like that
Mhm.
if you're just like by yourself, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, well, it's 11. I know you have work tomorrow, so
Work. Yes. So fun. Woo!
well, this is the Just Getting Through Life podcast by Kim.
And Jonathan.
And thank you for hanging out with us and really just deep diving through our childhoods,
Our problems. Yay.
our issues with these questions. But I really like these questions. So that's a good idea, Jonathan. It makes me um, be more aware of like your thought processes, you know?
Mhm.
And
I
I like
agree.
that. And I like how it ended with this question, then a nice one, you know? How it
Yeah.
didn't end with like one where we're like re-examining the pains of our past.
Yeah. Or like what we don't like. Oh. Ah. No, but yeah, I'll post the YouTube video in the description because it's actually really cool. Um, I remember there's this channel called School Life, and we watch a lot of the videos together because they're really cool and interesting. But yeah, I remember this video and I finally found it. So I think other people should watch it, and I think everyone should ask these questions with their spouse because it's
Or
good to know.
girlfriend or boyfriend.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's a good thing to know. I mean, a lot of things are stuck in your head, and unless you talk about it, I mean, the other person won't really know.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even say significant other. I would say
Well, yeah.
people that is in your life that you care about, maybe like
Hmm.
family members or, you know, anyone really.
No, that's true. That's true.
Like,
Your girlfriend.
wouldn't you think that this would help you out if you have an issue with a family member or like something like that, and you talk about these questions, like what you would like to be forgiven for? That's pretty powerful,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm. I agree with you. Actually, it would work in anything, but basically, this is called the 7 questions to restart love.
Love can be between your family members.
I know it can. Love can be with friends.
Right. Some friends will like do a lot for you.
Hmm. Yep.
So you're just agreeing with me.
I am totally agreeing with you. Because that's what a man does. He agrees with his girlfriend.
Oh, you're cute. You're a cute one. All right, Jonathan, I'm gonna let you go
All
sleep.
right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye, you guys.